This is a talk titled The Truth of Self. And to tell you the truth, I have to first make an important announcement. This announcement, if it is heard, will help you if you are endeavouring to find God or truth, to stop wasting time and get to the point. And the announcement is this: there is no higher self. There is only self. And self is ignorance. Everything is self. Everything is ignorance in existence. The only truth is out of existence. So if you want to find the truth, you have to be out of existence. That means you have to be free of attachment to self or attachment to existence. If you identify or are attached to your home, your bank account, your mother and father, your children, your partner, or anything as familiar as that, let alone so many other things, if you are attached to that, then you are going to suffer because you are attached to self. If you are attached to your body, you also will suffer because you will be attached to self, and all self dies or disappears. So you will suffer again. To attach yourself to self means suffering. As everybody in this world seems to suffer, I'm talking about psychological and mental suffering, then everybody obviously is attached to self. Whenever you cry, you are attached to self. Whenever you complain or blame, you are attached to self. If you are guilty or feel guilty, you are attached to self. You are selfish. Selfish? We better have a look at this, hadn't we? There's another word or expression called self-centered. And then there's another expression, the one I just used, called selfish. What's the difference? You know, it is said that there's no two words the same in the English language. So self-centered can't mean selfish, can it? Let's define selfish to be selfish first, so that you can look into your own life and see if you are selfish. To be selfish is to expect anything of another. How about that? Do you expect anything of someone else? We don't like this, do we? It's a bit close to the bone, isn't it? Well, I told you everything was self in existence. To be selfish is to be guilty. To be selfish is to be resentful, angry, To be selfish is to be unhappy. If I am moody at any time, I am selfish. Am I going to leave you anything? I don't think so. But I am going to leave you something that's out of existence, and I'm going to show it to you. I always demonstrate what I say to my beloved man and woman. So that's selfish, right? All those things, all that negativity, all that great self-attachment of guilt, blaming, complaining, expectation, that's all being selfish. Now let's have a look at what's self-centered. There's nothing wrong with being self-centered. As this is a world of self, there has to be some virtue in it, doesn't there? You are self-centered when your survival is threatened and you take action in that moment to survive. I don't think today your survival was very much in question, do you? No. Because self has built a wall around your life and called it civilization. And civilization is selfish. It is not self-centered. Civilization is to protect you from having to protect your own survival. You know, we don't have to go out and kill things and hunt. We've cut all that off, haven't we? So what we've done by making selfish civilization is we've cut ourselves off to the life that we all somehow yearn to get back to, but of course you can't go back. That's not the reality. But by doing that, we've said to ourselves, well, we don't have to fight for survival anymore. So what will we fight for? You know, there's 24 hours in a day. We all like to be busy. So what are we going to do for 24 hours of the day? What do we fight for? So what we came up with is, well, we'll fight to defend our emotions. We won't fight to defend our bodies, because that's not really necessary. We'll fight to defend our emotional self. We will live for our emotional self. We will no longer live for our beautiful body, which is the center of right self-centeredness, isn't it? Because it's the body that gets threatened with being killed, isn't it? By a lion or a tiger or by a drought. And it's right to endeavor to survive as your body. My acceptable self is my body. Well, it's a world of self, and this is what I call myself, and this is the only acceptable self is my body. Now, let's have a look at this selfish self that forgets about my body and then fights for its survival, this selfish self. Fights for the right to be unhappy. Did you ever hear of anything more ridiculous in your life? You wouldn't believe it if someone came from another planet and said what I just said then, that this is how things are on our planet. Everybody's unhappy. Not all the time, because that'd be all right, wouldn't it? If you were unhappy every moment, you wouldn't know you were unhappy. It's when you're unhappy today and happy tomorrow, isn't it? That's the agony. So, it is selfish to be attached to things outside of you. I'm not saying it's selfish to love the things outside of you, but it's selfish to be attached to them. Why? Because if they die, you're going to be unhappy if you're attached to them.